Ares, for insubordination, you are sentenced to the Forbidden Sector. No one survives past 60 seconds.
Ares stepped through the boundary without flinching, decades of death records heavy on his shoulders. A stopwatch clicked on. 59 seconds, the same countdown that sealed every previous fate. The timer hit 0. Silence stretched. The soldiers exchanged glances. Another corpse claimed by the sector. An hour later, the mist shifted. Eris emerged, dazed but alive, clutching a weathered journal. The journal was crammed with frantic scrawls. It belonged to a captain declared dead 15 years ago. Guards grabbed Aris. He held the journal tight, refusing to let go even as they restrained him.
He survived. That's impossible. The 60-second rule never failed before. What did he find in there?
Why is he alive? The death record is absolute. That journal. It has to be the key.
Lock him in solitary. No one speaks to him. That journal stays with him, for now.
Ares sat in the dark cell, the journal pressed to his chest like a living shield.
You broke the 60-second rule. Tell me how you survived, or I'll peel the truth from your hide.
Say nothing. Not until I understand what this journal really means.
Vance's fist crunched against Eris's cheek, and the guards joined in, boots thudding into his ribs. When the door slammed shut, Eris dragged himself to the corner, still clutching the journal. He cracked open the journal, the captain's frantic scrawl filling every page. The page showed a diagram of a monster, arrows pointing to a soldier's breastplate. Below it, they ignore flesh, they hunt the metal.
Our own gear marks us for death. The monsters are blind to flesh. They only attack the alloy.
Another entry read, I crossed the mist without my sword. They stood like statues, but I had no witness. No one will believe.
I have to prove it, but I am locked in here, and no one will listen.
That night, a shadow moved outside the cell bars. Lyra had traded a week's rations for 5 minutes.
Aris, what did you find in there? The whole camp is talking about your impossible return.
I found the truth. The 60-second rule is a lie. Look at this.
He turned the journal so the candlelight caught the page, showing the monster diagram and the scrawled warning.
Metal attracts them? That can't be true. Every soldier carries metal. We'd all be dead.
That's the point. We are dead, just not in 60 seconds. The monsters only attack when they sense military alloy.
If he's right, everything we've been told is a fabrication. But if he's wrong, this is suicide.
Lyra, I need you to test it. Go to the perimeter without any gear. They won't touch you.
Lyra hesitated, then tore a blank page from the journal and traced the diagram onto a scrap of cloth.
I'll do it tonight, before morning patrol. If you are wrong, I am dead. If you are right, we start a war.
Lyra found Sergeant Thane in the armory, already suspicious of the camp's hushed rumors.
You want me to watch you walk into the Forbidden Sector unarmed? Are you insane?
I need a witness. If I am right, you'll see why Eris survived.
At the perimeter, Lyra stripped off every piece of standard-issue gear. Buckles, blade, even the metal rivets.
This is either the bravest thing I've ever done, or the stupidest.
She stepped into the mist. A creature loomed, its fetid breath fogging the air, but it did not strike. Minutes later, she walked back out. Not a scratch. Thane's hands were shaking.
They didn't touch you. The rumors are true. The metal is the beacon.
Now you understand. We have to tell the others, quietly, before command finds out.
I'll spread the word to men I trust. But if we're caught, it's execution for all of us.
Night after night, more soldiers stripped their gear and walked into the mist. Each returned alive.
I saw it with my own eyes. The creature stood still as I passed.
That means the 60-second rule is a lie. How many have we sent to die for nothing?
Commander Vance's spies brought word of the spreading contagion. He summoned his intelligence officer immediately.
This madness ends now. If the truth gets out, Every soldier will abandon their post. We'll execute the traitor publicly at dawn. Let them see the price of spreading lies.
The order went out. Eris would be dragged to the execution yard as the sun rose.
They're afraid. The truth is spreading faster than they can silence it.
By morning, the yard was packed. Some soldiers knew the test results. Others still believed the myth.
If they kill him, they bury the truth. We can't let that happen.
Guards dragged Eris into the yard, his wrists bound, his face still bruised from the previous beating.
This man is a traitor, spreading lies to undermine our discipline. The only truth is the death that awaits him.
The 60-second rule is a fabrication. I survived because I know the secret. Let me prove it. I'll cross the perimeter again, without any gear. If I die, you lose nothing.
Let him try. If he's lying, the monsters will have him in seconds anyway.
Fine, strip him of all metal. But when he dies, and he will, I want every whisper crushed.
Aris tore off his chest plate, dropped his blade, and kicked away the metal-studded boots.
Every piece of metal is a death sentence. If they see me walk free, they'll never be chained again.
The crowd parted, leaving a path to the mist. Lyra and Thane watched from the front, hearts hammering.
Now you'll see the truth.
Aris walked into the mist, the monster's eyes tracking him, but their claws stayed sheathed. One creature stepped closer, sniffed the air, then turned away as if he were invisible. He strode through the heart of the sector, the creatures parting like shadows before him. Aris emerged from the mist, utterly unharmed. The crowds held breath, turning to gasps.
He did it. The monsters ignored him completely. The 60-second rule is a lie.
Drop your weapons. The metal marks us all. Strip it off now.
Swords and shields clattered to the ground, soldiers tearing off every scrap of metal in a wave of furious realization.
Kill him. Kill the scout and crush this rebellion before it spreads.
Back off. You'll have to get through every soldier here to touch him.
The guards looked to Vance, but he was already retreating. The mutiny had won its first battle.
Lock down the base. Cut all communications. No one leaves, no one talks. I want this rebellion suffocated.
Alarm klaxons screamed across the compound. Blast doors sealed the barracks sector with a thunderous clang.
They'll send loyalists soon. We need to be ready for anything.
What if they cut off the air supply? We're trapped in here like rats.
Then we'll fight with whatever we have. Fear is exactly what Vance wants us to feel.
The metal beacon can't be the whole secret. There has to be more in those pages.
Aris turned the brittle pages, scanning entries he'd only skimmed before the execution. One entry, faded and desperate, read, "They were bred, not wild." The order came from the highest level, but why?
Bred. The Empire created these monsters. This goes deeper than I ever imagined.
Then we find out who gave the order, and why.
Ares flipped further, finding Captain Riven's final scrawls crammed into the margins. The entry read, "The creatures are not wild. They are bred. We were ordered to unleash them. But the purpose, I still cannot discern."
So the journal confirms it, but the purpose is still hidden. There must be more records somewhere.
The high-security archive. Old operational orders are stored there, but it's heavily guarded.
We can get in. There's a maintenance tunnel that runs underneath it. I know the layout.
Then we go tonight. If we find the full order, we expose the Empire's crime.
Thane pulled out a worn map, marking patrol routes and blind spots with a stub of charcoal.
I'll create a distraction near the east gate. You two find the archive. Bring back proof.
If we fail, Vance will use it as an excuse to massacre us all.
The plan was set. The fate of the mutiny now hinged on a desperate raid into the Empire's most guarded secrets. Under cover of darkness, Eris and Lyra slipped through the maintenance tunnel into the high-security archive. Rows of dusty shelves towered above them, filled with classified orders dating back to the Empire's founding. Lyra spotted a file stamped Project Silence. Inside, detailed schematics of the creatures, their genetic code, their breeding cycles.
They engineered them from scratch, designed to hunt something specific. but the final pages are torn out.
Someone removed the conclusion. They knew we'd come looking.
A red light flashed, klaxons blared, boots echoed in the corridor. They had tripped a silent alarm. Lieutenant Kale appeared at the door, adjusting his glasses with a cold, satisfied smile.
I knew you'd come. The missing pages are safely with Commander Vance. Now, drop the file.
Before Eris could react, guards seized Lyra, binding her arms. Kale gestured for Eris to surrender as well.
Number. I won't let it end here. I have to get the proof out.
Eris slipped through the maintenance tunnels and back into the barricaded barracks, Thane pulling him aside.
They have Lyra. They set a trap, but I managed to grab part of the file.
Part of it? What's missing?
Eris spread the torn pages on a crate. The genetic schematics of the creatures were intact, but the final directive was ripped away.
We need the full truth to end this. But first, we need Lyra back.
A comm screen crackled to life. Lieutenant Kale's face materialized, his smile thin and calculated.
Excellent timing. I have an offer you'll want to hear.
Spit it out, Kale.
Turn yourself in. Recant your rebellion publicly. Destroy all evidence. In exchange, Lyra will be released and your soldiers pardoned.
If I agree, the Empire's crimes stay buried. If I refuse, Lyra's blood is on my hands. Lyra would never forgive me if I traded the truth for her life. She chose this fight. Soldiers of the Empire. The Forbidden Sector was a lie. The creatures were bred by our own founders. See the proof?
The broadcast crackled across every barrack screen, the torn schematics flashing in grainy detail. Eris armed himself with nothing but a pry bar and led a team of volunteers through the maintenance corridors toward the detention block. They overwhelmed the guards with sheer ferocity, Thane's booming voice echoing off the walls. But when they breached the detention block, Lyra's cell was empty, the cot untouched, the chains hanging loose. On the floor, her metal dog tags glinted in the dim light, left as a deliberate taunt.
They knew we were coming. Kale moved her. This is my fault.
A scrawled note on the wall. Truth has a price, Eris. You'll find her with the final pages.
We don't stop. We find those missing pages, and we get her back. All of it.
Kale's face flickered back onto the barrack screen, his grin sharper than before.
You missed her by minutes. She's in the high-security vault now, but you can still save her.
What's your price this time?
The journal. All of it. Hand it over, and I'll release Lyra unharmed. Refuse, and she dies in that vault.
The vault must hold the missing pages too. He's forcing me to choose between the truth and her life again.
Before Eris could respond, Thane lunged at a guard behind them, snapping his arm and pressing a blade to his throat. The guard, gasping, choked out the vault's location before collapsing. The vault was deep beneath the command center, sealed with a biometric lock keyed to Vance himself.
Then we take Vance, or we force our way through. Either way, we're not walking away without her.
We breach the vault. We find Lyra, and we find the truth. No more trades.
Charges blew the vault door inward, revealing a sterile chamber lined with shelves and glowing data consoles. Eris snatched the complete Project Silence file, flipping to the torn-out conclusion. His hands trembled. The final directive read, upon activation, creatures hunt and kill any human bearing the Imperial Crest Aloe. Sector designated as disposal site for political enemies.
The Empire didn't just create monsters. They built a secret execution ground. Every soldier wearing our crest is a target.
Lyra was chained in the corner, pale but alive. Thane shattered the restraints with a single blow.
I knew you'd come, but we have to move. Kale set a self-destruct fail-safe if the vault was breached.
I've got the file and the journal. Let's get out of here before the ceiling comes down.
Alarms erupted. A heavy blast shield began descending over the vault entrance, sealing them inside.
If the shield closes, the evidence dies with us. We need a signal out, now.
Outside, the sound of boots echoed. Kale's voice crackled over the intercom. You wanted the truth. Now you'll be buried with it.
There's no time. I'll hold them off. You two get that transmission out.
We're not leaving you. We can fight our way out together.
You are the only one who can finish this. Get the truth out. That's an order.
Ares slammed the transmit button, uploading the complete Project Silence file to every mutineer channel before the signal cut. Guards flooded the vault, but Thane met them with a roar. His blade a silver arc in the chaos. He cut down 3 before a blade found his chest. But he didn't fall. He drove them back with his last strength. Ares and Lyra fled through a maintenance hatch as the blast shield slammed shut behind them, sealing Thane inside.
He bought us time with his life. We can't let that be in vain.
Thane, I'll make sure the whole Empire knows what you did.
Behind them, the vault explosion rumbled, but the transmission had already reached every screen in the compound. Every screen in the compound lit up with the Project Silence file, the monster schematics, the breeding logs, the directive to slaughter political enemies.
The crest on my chest marks me as prey. My own empire set us up to die.
A tidal wave of soldiers began tearing off their uniforms and weapons, screaming for answers. The chain of command shattered. General Mayer stepped onto a high balcony, his weathered face visible to all. He raised a hand, and the mob fell silent.
I served the Empire for 40 years. Today I learn I was a pawn. From this moment, I fight with the mutiny.
A roar erupted. Officers threw down their rank insignias, and the mutiny's numbers doubled in an instant. Soldiers dragged Lieutenant Kale from a corridor. His glasses shattered. His cold composure finally cracked.
Where's Vance? He can't hide forever.
Commander Vance sealed himself inside his command center, the blast doors locking as his last loyal guards arrayed around him.
He's trapped. The whole army knows the truth. Now we end this.
Eris and Lyra strode into the command center, their footsteps echoing. Vance's last guards lowered their weapons and let them pass.
You think this is justice? I did what was necessary. The Empire needed a disposal ground for sedition.
You slaughtered your own soldiers to silence dissent. That's not order, it's tyranny.
Lyra placed Thane's bloody dog tags on the polished desk, the metal clinking softly in the silence.
He died for this truth. You don't get to justify murder behind the flag.
General Mayer ordered the doors breached. Soldiers surged in and seized Vance by the arms as he was dragged outside. The crowd's roar shook the walls. A decade of silence shattered.
Thane, I hope you can see this. We finished what you started.
We'll tear down the fences and bury this chapter. His sacrifice won't be forgotten.
The dawn light broke through the shattered windows, and the forbidden sector's lie finally crumbled. Ares stood on a crate before the silent army, the weathered journal open in his hands. Captain Riven's final entry. I have hidden this journal. Now I walk unarmed into the mist to prove the truth. If I perish, let this be my witness.
He died so that one day someone would expose the lie. Today, we honor him and every soldier who never returned.
Without a word, soldiers turned toward the forbidden sector and began pulling down the fence with bare hands. Lyra hung Thane's dog tags on a wooden cross near the gate, alongside Riven's name and countless others.
They didn't die for nothing. The whole Empire will know their names.
The 60-second death record was officially struck from the logs, and the phrase Forbidden Sector was banned by General Mayer's decree. But on the journal's final page, a later script was scrawled in a different hand. The creatures learn. They recognize patterns. Beware.
Our fight isn't over. These creatures were bred for a purpose, and that purpose might outlast the Empire.
The Forbidden Sector was no more. But the shadow of the Empire's betrayal would never fully lift. The sun climbed over a camp that was no longer an army. Soldiers sat in clusters, some weeping, some staring at the broken fence.
So many faces I won't see again. Years of believing a lie. It burns worse than any wound.
But we're still standing. We'll tear down every symbol of the Empire that lied to us.
Ares and Lyra stood apart from the crowd, watching the sector's mist dissolve under the rising sun.
It really is over. But Thane should be here with us.
He is here. In every soldier who now knows the truth, we'll carry him forward.
They walked to the memorial. A single cross bore Thane's dog tags, the metal clinking in the breeze.
Rest now, brother. We'll make sure your sacrifice means something.
Nearby, a soldier hauled down the Imperial flag. It ignited in a barrel, flames eating the crest that had been a death mark.
That's the last time that symbol will be hung over anyone's grave.
General Mayer stood before a formal assembly, the decree of abolition in his hands.
By the authority of this assembly, the Forbidden Sector is dissolved. All conspirators will face trial. We owe this reckoning to one scout who refused to let the lie stand. Eris, I ask you to serve as an officer in the Reformed Command. The Army needs your integrity.
I didn't do this for rank. The system has to change from the ground up. I can't be its symbol.
Eris turned to an archivist and handed over the journal, its pages finally at rest. The seal of the Empire was broken from the journal, and the truth was officially archived.
That little book broke a century-old conspiracy. It'll outlast all of us now.
Then let this day be remembered for the fallen, not the titles. Thane's name will be etched in the new charter.
The mutiny had ended, but the rebuilding would be a longer fight, one now waged with the truth. Months passed. Eris lived alone at the edge of the former sector, the broken fence a silent monument outside his window.
Eris, I wondered if you'd ever accept visitors again.
Lyra, it's good to see you. I've been adjusting.
They walked the overgrown path to the boundary, the mist thinner now but still clinging to the ground.
Do you ever regret it? Starting the mutiny?
Number. But I wonder if the Empire can truly change. Some habits are older than the lie.
The monsters still roamed, but they had not attacked since the sector fell. They were a wary reminder.
They're learning. The journal warned us.
Then we'll learn too. That's what Thane would have wanted.
They stood in the thin mist, watching the sun break through, knowing the fight was far from over. The thin mist rippled, and a pair of yellow eyes glowed in the distance. Then another, all fixed unblinkingly on Eris.
They're not drifting anymore. They're closing in with purpose. Lyra, stay behind me. Don't come any closer.
The creatures emerged fully, their massive forms blotting out the sun, and still they advanced in eerie silence, eyes locked on him.
I've seen that look before. It's recognition.
A line from the journal's sealed last page seared into his memory. The creatures learn. They now recognize the one who walked among them.
The warning wasn't about metal. It was about the man who proved the lie.
But you are unarmed. They never attacked you before. Why now?
The creatures were an arm's length away, their breath misting his face, but they did not strike. Then the screen faded to black as they reached out for him, and the mist closed in, leaving nothing.